Welcome back to another Toni Morrison reading vlog. I feel like I am definitely jumping into this vlog in the middle of everything. I just got home from work and I got a package in the mail from Penguin Random House. This is some publisher mail. I'm a part of the Berkley influencer program, which has been really fun to just receive books on random days of the month. And this one is Boring Asian Female by Canwen. I'm going to say their last name wrong, but this is the book. I'll also leave the description and information about it somewhere below. Thank you, Berkley Penguin Random House, for the free copy. We are not here to talk about this book in particular. The last time we talked, I had finished Sylge by Toni Morrison. That was forever ago. That was the end of February, and I don't think y'all saw the vlog until a few weeks ago, or like maybe 2 weeks ago at the time that I'm recording this video. I don't know when y'all are going to see this vlog, but I had the intention of reading one book a month in my year-long Toni Morrison reading challenge. I have now fallen behind. I'm not technically behind because it's 11 books, so I kind of gave myself the wiggle room to miss a month. All of March kind of just came and went. It was a super busy work month for me. I feel like I worked a lot of late nights. I had to work a lot of weekends, more than usual. So there was just not much time to really read. I just let Song of Solomon kind of fall to the wayside. But it's a new month now. I feel like my workload, like workload, will kind of calm down in mid-April. And I already started Song of Solomon, which is why it feels like I'm just starting this vlog all willy-nilly. I'm only about 2 chapters in, so I'm not too far into it. I'm enjoying it so far. Of course, I'm doing my immersive read, and of course, I am confused about what's going on. I'm like following along, but you know, if you read Toni Morrison, you know how she writes. She does not give you everything. I already know that this is the type of book that needs to be read and reread and reread to kind of understand. And I'm glad that the audiobook that I'm listening to has the foreword or introduction by Toni Morrison, and then the newer written foreword. And I'm forgetting who it was for Song of Solomon. I think Tayari Jones, but I could be making that up. I think that's who it was. I'm grateful that the audiobook had it because the physical copy that I have does not have anything. Like there's no introduction, there's no author's note or whatever before the book. It just starts. So I got to hear a bit about the book from Toni Morrison, and the two things that I immediately took note of was her like saying that flying and mercy were big things in this book. So those are like the things that I'm annotating right now. And yeah, I'm just taking in the story. Again, it's Toni Morrison. I love her work. I love the stories that she tells. And I know that this is going to be a really good one. So it's starting off interesting. The characters are interesting. I'm getting to know them a bit more. But I wanted to officially introduce this vlog because I have been reading. I just have not been vlogging for real. It is Thursday. I just got home from work. Work is still busy. I go in tomorrow and Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to be reading Toni Morrison in the next few weeks. I'm also in the middle of Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, which is really good. And I think that that's what I'm going to read tonight. And this morning I started my arc of The Art of Loving You by Natasha Bishop that comes out, I think, April 14th in like 2 weeks. So I'm really excited for that. I loved Only for the Week. That's one of my favorite romance books. And I feel like this book is already going to emotionally destroy me. I started on the train and I was fighting back tears. Like, if you want to read this book, I will give you a trigger warning right now. Like, it dives headfirst into grief and losing someone close to you. So just a forewarning if you do want to read it, but it's so, like, I already know it's going to be so good. But next weekend, I am driving down to Indianapolis for a sorority conference, and I think if I am not reading Song of Solomon at the beginning of the week, I definitely will be reading while I'm in the car because I'm not driving. So I will be a passenger princess, and part of my duties as a passenger princess is to read. But yeah, I'll just be checking in whenever I have things to say. Right now, like, my main thing is I'm enjoying it. I'm interested in seeing where the story takes me. I'm interested to see if I can like pick up on some themes. Definitely like flight and being able to fly away and like have control over your location, I think is very important. And I feel like part of the story is them going back south, like they're up north or like in the Midwest, and someone's gonna return to the south. But I could be making that up about the story. Another like motif that I've been noticing is the behind, like people coming up from behind or looking behind, which this is very like it feels very biblical. I don't know if it's because I'm also reading Pachinko and there's a lot of biblical references there in terms of names. The family that we are focused on in Pachinko is a pretty Christian family, like certain people in their family are. So I don't know if I relating looking behind. There was a moment where someone looked behind at their past, and I was like, oh, that feels like Lot's wife. And if you know that story of Lot fleeing, I don't know, whatever the biblical story is that God told them not to look behind once they're leaving. I think it's Sodom and Gomorrah. I could be making this up. Something where a city's getting destroyed, they tell them to leave. Lot and his family is like they're the chosen ones to leave, but Lot's wife looks back and she gets turned into a pillar of salt. And then there's a whole like deeper meaning of what it means to not look back on the things that you're leaving behind because you're leaving them behind for a reason. That was like another connection that I'm kind of making there. I don't know if it's going to be exactly that story, like looking behind is a bad thing. I don't believe in that necessarily. Like, I'm a big firm believer of the idea of Sankofa, like needing to look to your past to understand your present and your future. I don't know if Toni Morrison is drawing from that idea specifically or what is going to happen, but I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But yeah, this is the start of the vlog. Again, it's a bit chaotic. I have a new book to add to my shelf. I don't know where I'm going to add it because I'm running out of shelf space, but you know, that is the life of a reader and I love it here. I will check back in with y'all at some point.
Thank you, Integrity, and congratulations to you and the rest of the Artemis 2 team.
It is now Monday. I have book mail that I'm about to open, and I also have an update on Song of Solomon. I basically rotted all of yesterday, but I did read quite a bit of Song of Solomon. I have thoughts, but before we get into thoughts, we're going to open this package. I'm pretty sure this is publisher mail from like an influencer program that I'm in. I just don't know what book it is because I always forget what books I request. We're going to find out together. Okay, I have no clue what this is. Okay, How to Retreat by Carolyn Sylge, a guide to stepping away from every day to find space for self. It came with a tote bag, which is what surprised me, which I love a tote bag. It says books for your mind, body, and spirit. This is so cute. Can y'all see this? I hope so. Aw. Welcome to our 2026 Influencer Program. We're delighted to have you here and cannot wait to collaborate with you this year, sharing transformative books for your mind, body, and spirit. Thank you for bringing your unique voice and creativity to the mix. We're looking forward to a fun, inspiring partnership. Sincerely, the Harmony, Rodale, and Convergent Marketing Team. Oh, and they signed the back of it. Oh, this is so cute. I'm pretty sure this isn't a book that I requested because I was like, I don't think I remember this. I am a part of the Well Within influencer program. There's just a ton of like wellness books. It's like a collective of the 3 imprints that I just mentioned, all under Penguin Random House. And yeah, it's just a bunch of books about wellness and whatnot. I have yet to like find the time to start any of the books that I've gotten from them because you know me, I'm such a mood reader, but like I love them. The fact that I have them, all the ones that I've requested, like I'm really interested in. And I'm also interested in this, like How to Retreat, because I'm in a period where I've just been working a lot. It's a busy time at work, and this usually happens around the same time every year, like very specific times in the year. So I'm not like too shocked that I'm busy and working a lot. It's just when I am in those periods, I kind of feel a bit distant from myself. So I have been trying to like journal a bit more and have no phone days or like hours where I'm just focused on like taking care of myself, taking care of my space. This is also just another reminder to like step away from my everyday. I also got another package the day after I opened the one that we opened this vlog with from being in the Berkley influencer program. So I have a ton of new books this week, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about Song of Solomon. Song of freaking Solomon. I was reading quite a bit more. I'm a little under halfway through the book, and y'all, I can't even spoil this. Like, I want to spoil it, but I'm not. I will say that, like all Toni Morrison books, I love her writing. I love how difficult her stories are. And this one certainly is. On Saturday, I was with Helena, and we, of course, were talking about books. And I was saying that I was reading Song of Solomon, and she mentioned the relationship in this book that is just so wrong. And I was only 2 chapters into the book, so the relationships that were already kind of there weren't fully cemented in my brain. But yesterday, right, Sunday, when I got into bed and was like sitting down to journal my initial thoughts, that's when I realized there was something that was mentioned, very briefly mentioned. And this is what Toni Morrison does. She like, when she writes, she briefly mentions a thing, and you really have to be paying attention to find the information relevant to the story. And there was something that she mentioned and like kind of glossed over, then moved into something else. But the thing was like, oh, that's strange. But we kind of moved on. So I moved on. But it wasn't until I got home, was like about to start reflecting on what I'd read so far, that I'm like, oh, this is the relationship. And it certainly was the relationship that is, child. I don't want to give anything away because I have, for the most part, gone into this book knowing nothing. The things that I thought I was going to get out of this, I'm not. And even thinking back, I'm like, what did I think this book was about? Because it's not what I thought. It's still good. It's still really good. Again, it's still Toni Morrison, and she is just gonna like drag you by your hair and force you along the story. Part of me hates that I don't know how this book ends, so I don't know what to expect. Very different from like The Bluest Eye and Sula, where I was able to see all of like the foreshadowing and things that I should have been paying attention to, or like could pay more attention to, knowing how the story ended. Like this, I'm here for the ride, and I'm trying to pay attention and like clock all the things. I'm still picking up on a lot of the biblical aspects of it. Like the names are obviously very biblical. Rebecca, Reba, Hagar, Magdalene, Lena, and First Corinthians. I feel like those are the main ones. And then obviously still tracking flight and flying and the hospital called Mercy. The audiobook that I'm listening to is due on Libby in 4 days, so I actually just want to finish this soon. I think I'll probably finish it before I go to Indianapolis for my conference this weekend. I thought that that's when I would read, like actually finish it while I was in the car, but I'm pretty sure, no, I think the audiobook will still be available, but I just want to get it out the way. So I'm going to finish this hopefully by Wednesday. Y'all will hear what my thoughts are after I finish. Who knows what my thoughts are going to be? Who knows how this freaking book is going to end? Like, I have no clue what is about to happen. If I do finish this by Wednesday, hopefully I can start, what's after this? Tar Baby. Okay, hopefully I can start Tar Baby in late April, so I'm not too far behind. Like, I can be a bit behind, but if I can start it in late April, finish early May, and then start, oh gosh, Beloved, and get through Beloved, that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be so rough. Beloved is the one that I'm actually terrified to read, but we're not gonna think that far ahead. We're gonna get through Song of Solomon. It is Tuesday night, It's 10:30, almost 10:30, and I am reading Song of Solomon. I'm about like 75% of the way through now. I'm up because I'm waiting for my clothes to dry in the dryer. But if I did not have to work tomorrow, I would definitely finish this book. I love this. I love this book. And I am feeling that feeling when I first read a Toni Morrison book that I know that I love it. I know that I love the story. I can kind of see the hints of what this book is about, but I know that the second time I read this book, I will get so much more out of it. It's fantastic on its own. It's fantastic as a first read, but I just know, like, I know the second time that I read it, it's gonna hit so much. And like, there are so many things that I'm already like, I started a list of all of the things that are coming up or recurring. So ice, numbers, the Bible or like biblical references, behind, backwards, reverse. Then there's 3 days, 7 days, hunger, fear, and death. And there's just like recurring themes that I'm just noticing as I read. There are others, but those are the ones that like really do stick out. And then of course, I think I mentioned earlier in the vlog, flying and Mercy, the hospital. I just got to a point in the book where our main character is kind of let down. Like, he was expecting a thing and has come to realize that the thing that he is expecting is not where he expected it to be. And I feel like this is such a unfortunate representation of being Black in America. And there are a lot of historical references that I didn't think would be in here. They mention Emmett Till, they mention the bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama, the general awareness of, racial violence and racial terror in all of America, not even just the South. Like, this was happening everywhere in this country. All the things, even like hints the beginning of police brutality. Editing me here, I am watching this section back and I wanted to correct myself because it feels like I'm saying that police brutality didn't start until like the 90s, and I know that that's not true. I know that police brutality was happening prior to. I think my brain was mixing that up with mass incarceration. And I also was reflecting a little bit more too. I feel like there are also just different moments in time that were like declaring moments in different generations. So I feel like for my generation, it was like Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown, and maybe my parents' generation was like an Amadou Diallo, Rodney King, and then generations prior was civil rights movement, right? In terms of police brutality and like those being defining moments in liberation movements, civil rights movements, those types of things. So I wanted to correct myself because it literally seems like I was saying police brutality did not happen or was not happening, or wasn't being documented. That's the main thing. It was definitely being documented prior to. I think I was just thinking about mass incarceration specifically and relating that to police brutality. And for a book that was written in the 70s, the late 70s, I think this is when it was published. Yeah, it was published in the late 70s, so even written before then. Particularly when we think about like the rise of mass incarceration, I feel like the 70s is kind of when it started, but at least from what I know, like mass incarceration or police brutality was a known thing in a lot of Black communities in the 80s and 90s, but wasn't really documented or fully, like, I guess, beginning to be widespread until Rodney King. And then that was the 90s. Don't quote me on the year, but I know it was the 90s. I'm pretty sure it was the 90s. And then we see this like continuation of mass incarceration, police brutality being documented, being recorded, being commented on. But like the fact that we have it here, and this is not me saying that Toni Morrison was the first to talk about it. I'm sure other people have talked about it, but the fact that we have this documented is very interesting. And, you know, I think a lot of people do talk about this in relation to the plight of the Black man in the United States. I also think that there's something very valuable when we look at the Black woman characters and how they respond to the Black men around them. I'm not losing that just because we're focusing on a Black man in this story. I love reading books that deal with like the Black community broadly, but also the Black community along the lines of gender, specifically Black men, because I feel like a lot of the times, and maybe it's just because like me being a Black woman, being socialized as a Black woman, I am not always paying attention to the socialization of Black men. And in the last few years, especially as I was working on my master's thesis and like moving forward, I've been more interested in just literature and media that deals with that in a way that is productive. I'm still sitting with my thoughts. I'm going to keep reading until I have to go get my laundry soon, but I'm definitely going to finish this tomorrow. But I don't know if I'm going to like give you my final thoughts tomorrow because tomorrow I work in the office, and then once I get home, I basically have to finish packing and do all the things, clean, wash my hair, probably end up finishing this book as well. So y'all might hear from me way in the future. I just wanted to check in and tell y'all that this book is fantastic. It is really hard to put down, and I'm going to keep reading. Hey y'all, it's been a minute since we talked. It is Sunday, April 12th. I feel like it's been almost a week since I last checked in, but I just got back from Indianapolis. I was at a sorority conference. It was our regional conference, and it was a great weekend. It was just long, long days, long nights, and I'm back home. So I'm a bit tired, but I'm glad that I am back and kind of settled pretty early in the day. It's a little before 2:30. It's 2:26 now. So I have kind of the rest of the day to unpack, probably do laundry. I definitely need to do laundry, and just prepare myself for the week because I have to be in the office tomorrow. I did want to give like a final update of Song of Solomon because I did finish reading it. But before we do that, I do have packages. One of them I was expecting. The other is from Feminist Press. I'm a part of their influencer program, and I wasn't necessarily expecting it. Usually between like the last week and the first week of a month, I'll receive like publisher mail, so it's not too surprising, but I didn't know what this package was until I saw. So these are my two. I'm sorry, like my name is all over these. I'm gonna open the one from Feminist Press first, but I'll kind of try to do it off camera because my name, my apartment number, all the things are just on here. Okay, yes, I remember picking this up or choosing this. This is Medea Sang Me a Corridor by Dahlia de la Cerda. This is an uncorrected proof, y'all. Comes out in June 6th, 2026. But I think I am on oh, I feel like the book was dented, just like here in the back. It was probably done in the mail. Yep, I can tell because on the front of it, there's a dent in here. So it probably got smushed by something, but dang. And it literally went through quite a few of these pages, y'all. That's sad. I don't know if y'all can like really see it, but it's right here. It's an uncorrected proof, so I'm not too precious of this, but also I hate when books are like, when it's like this, when these things are happening, especially when it's brand new. But anywho, ever since reading Circe and I, Medusa, I've been wanting to read more like feminist retellings of Greek mythology. And I work at an opera company, and we did Medea, the opera, last year, the end of last year. So I like kind of know the story of Medea. This specifically, I'll read it, is a punk revival of Medea as a Mexican anti-angel of birth and death. So I'm excited to read this. Medea, her story is very dark. As a lot of Greek mythology, it's very tragic. I will probably end up purchasing a copy of this book once it's out because this is going to frustrate me. And then my second package, I know exactly what's in here. I should not have bought this, but I did. Can you guess? I'm sure you can. I was making sure my address wasn't on this, but if you're aware of what this company is, I'm sure you know. I got a new traveler's notebook. I'm not even going to say anything because I certainly bought this, and when I bought it, I was like, you should not have done that. But yeah, I wanted another traveler's notebook. I have one in the pocket size, and surprisingly, it feels too small. That's the one that I have been carrying just around as a replacement for my notes app. And the thing is, I am not picking it up. So I do thrive well with novelty. And unfortunately, novelty can mean, doesn't always have to mean, but can mean me buying new things. And I'm not mad at this purchase. Like, what I love about traveler's notebooks or leather notebooks is that they are meant to last. I'm sorry, this feels so correct. They are meant to last and kind of carry you through life. So this is going to carry me through life, and I'm really excited. I always forget that there's really only like one um, whatever, to put your inserts in, because I got 3 other inserts. These are two dotted notebooks and then a card file. Because the one that my pocket, I also use a card file, and I'll put like my Polaroid pictures. I think I have my iPod in there that needs to be charged, some stickers and other just like random things. So I don't know if I'm going to set this up right now. I kind of don't feel like it because I really want to figure out something to eat and watch the Kevin Lang show, because 2 new episodes. Well, the main channel had an episode, and then the second channel had an episode, and they always come out on Saturdays, but I was busy all day yesterday, so I need to watch that. I need to figure out something to eat. But I'm going to wrap up this vlog because I did finish Song of Solomon. I really don't have much else to say, I don't think. I don't want to give away anything of the book any more than I already did, especially if you're watching this and you haven't read it. But just know that I really loved it. It was so, so, so good. It was so good. I am now firm in my belief that like Toni Morrison is a writer who you have to reread. And I was a bit nervous kind of getting to the first book where I am not rereading, I'm reading it for the first time. Specifically my first Toni Morrison book, which is The Bluest Eye. I did feel like my first read, it was hard. It was very difficult to read, and I was worried that Song of Solomon might have been one of those difficult books for me, but it wasn't. Like, it was very easy to follow. There were things that I didn't necessarily understand, but like the story made sense, the characters made sense, and it was just a matter of like getting through the things that didn't necessarily click right away, but knowing that it would click at some point, and making notes of things that were repetitive and the things that came up often, so that once you got to the end, or once you got to a certain point where it's like, oh, I vividly remember you mentioning this thing earlier, like I could recognize those things even in my first read. However, I do know that once I eventually reread this. There will be so much more that I do catch on to, and I'm excited for that. So 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10, would recommend. In the next book, we are reading Tar Baby. I might give it a few weeks. I don't think I'll wait until May to start it. I do want to start a few of my book club reads before I get to Tar Baby, but I'm going to start reading that soon because, I don't know, Song of Solomon, getting through Song of Solomon and enjoying it and loving it and realizing that Toni Morrison's work, while it is, again, it can be hard to get to, it is not impossible to read, at least not for me. I've heard that some people think that it's like one of her more difficult books, but of all of them, The Bluest Eye is by far the hardest book that I've read. Song of Solomon was fairly easy. There were some difficult topics. There were some things happening in the book that was just like, what? However, like the writing style, understanding the story, that to me was fairly easy. There's probably more that I could say, but I don't want to spoil it. So if you have read the book and you want to talk more deeply about it with me, DM me because I will respond. There's so much there that is very good. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this reading vlog. If you want to join the year-long Toni Morrison reading challenge, I will leave all of the information down below. I'm reading all 11 of her full-length novels in the order that they were published. It is certainly not too late to start, so feel free to join, and I will see y'all next time for Tar Baby.